Welcome everybody to the cosmic forecast for the month of July. I am Amalia Natalio along with Madelaine Parker, and we are super excited for you to join us today. Madelaine and I were talking beforehand, and we've got a fiery July, so it's pretty appropriate for this midsummer month that's coming up. And there's going to be some energy around courage, around pivoting. People are going to be facing authorities and restriction, making some changes. That's where that pivot and the courage comes into play. Mars plays a huge role this month, and Madelaine is going to be sharing a little bit more about that going forward. But yeah, so the month of July, Madelaine, pretty wild ride, wouldn't you say?
The beginning of the first 2 weeks of the month, actually, let's just go with July 1st and actually end of June. Really, we've got this Mars squaring Uranus and Saturn. So I will share, shall I share the screen now, or should we wait?
For those who are, we'll be sharing with you what is on the screen for anyone who's listening to the audio version of this. And for those who would like to see the video version, you have it available now. So you can actually see some of the planetary alignments, which is really pretty cool. So so Madelaine, take it away.
Right there, can you see the T-square? Mars in Leo, Uranus in Taurus, Saturn in Aquarius. That's a pretty powerful thing going on here at the beginning of the month. We also have
T-square. Also, really quickly, Madelaine, just for people who know what the T-square, it looks like a basically like a triangle with one side of the triangle. I can't remember what that's called. A little bit longer than the other two sides, and for the T-square. And then you were going to mention something else before I interrupted you. I just wanted to give everyone a visual of what that looked like.
Yeah, we just also have a grand trine in fire signs. So, you know, we've got some hard aspects, but also some positive ones that are sort of offsetting. So it's a strange beginning of the month because we've got some really challenging aspects, but we've got some amazing things happening too. It's almost like these challenging things bring out amazing things in people, bring out you know, courage in people, and change, because squares also represent change. Mars is action. Mars is squaring Uranus and Saturn. So it's like Mars is fired up motivation, it's drive. So it's like Mars and Mars. Squares are Mars squaring. So it's like Mars is in his energy to confront, to be brave, to be courageous, to feel strong and go against Saturn. And with Uranus there, it's sort of like surprise. So people want to be careful for fires or accidents. This is a very accident prone energy. You want to watch out driving. People are hot. Mars is in Leo. It's a little bit aggravated. It can get angry, it can get really fired up. There could be confrontations, you see, because Mars is confronting authorities. So people might confront their bosses. People might, I'm going to use the example of Britney Spears. Britney Spears is using social media, Uranus, out in the world, public, confronting her father. Saturn, Mars, she's got the courage. I almost want to look at her chart, you know, and study her chart here. But it's like she's got the courage to confront the restricting authoritarian energies. So you're going to see people feeling frustrated and ready to, and having the courage, because Leo is all about courage. It's the lion. So it's the proud lion, and it's like, but it is for good. So these are changes. Like if you think about the Britney Spears thing, I was at a restaurant last night, sitting at a bar, and everybody went, "Free Britney!" The bartender yelled it out, "Free Britney!" Everybody in the entire place went, "Free Britney!" You know, it was kind of funny, but that was the people squaring Uranus, squaring the people, Uranus squaring Saturn, the authority that isn't. You know, there is good authority, there is good government, there is the positive aspects too. We have to have some grid, but what we're doing is we're standing up against sort of toxic Saturn, domineering energies. So people are feeling very strong and brave.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that shows up for people in different ways. And, you know, the situations that may occur where they need to, like you said, speak up for themselves, maybe speak up for someone else, buck the system, you know, buck authorities,
Yeah.
change something in a courageous way in their life. So I guess the kind of my takeaway from that is for people who are feeling that energy, it's probably the push that they needed, the fire under their butt to go and take an action and do something. Don't ignore it or miss an opportunity to maybe change things up. Would you say that's in alignment with the energy you're talking about?
Well, yeah, and to have it go well for you, like to work on it, to work with these energies in a way that creates a positive result in your life is to not be reactive, to really meditate first. Don't act, think way first, and really don't make any sort of, if you feel angry and you feel like you want to lash out, really just go find a way to these are opportunities in astrology for you to master this about yourself. So
I
these
love
are,
it.
yeah, and the reason that these kinds of squares come up is so that we do take action. It is an action-oriented energy. So we are going to create positive change, but the best way to do it without creating violence or fighting or lashback is to do it with refrain, with thought, taking some time on it, being very conscientious, but using the energy that this is to give you the impetus and the motivation to go ahead and initiate the change that is needed. Because a lot of times squares, what I find with squares is I actually just get a lot done. So it's possible in the best case scenario, people are just getting a lot done. You're feeling
Right.
very motivated, very driven, and you see the changes that you need to make. So you're feeling motivated to do it. And it is going to create the good change that you need, because we have the Venus and Mars conjunction afterwards, which we'll talk about. But this period of initiation, we are going to see rapid movement after this. This is a pivot point in everybody's lives where we're going to take action to make major changes that are liberating, that are going to push the structures in our life to be a little more lenient on us, so that we can grow in our own individual ways, because Leo is all about individual self-expression. So we're going to do that despite the restrictions.
It's amazing that with that energy of the you know, I'm sorry, now I just thought of something else when you were mentioning Leo. So is that with that Leo energy, is that like even if you don't have Leo in your chart, are people going to be feeling like larger than life in some way too?
I think people with Leo in their chart are going to have a very, very interesting month as far as push and pull and all that.
Okay.
The more you're directly aspected by these, the more of an intense experience you're going to have. But also the more you're being called to master your fire energy. I mean, we have a grand trine also in the fire energies. So if you can really use these energies to create a lot of good changes that are more abundant, that you can really pivot your life into a much more auspicious, prosperous energies within this. If you know how to work these energies, which is to not create conflict, but to resolve conflict, but to take the action and the courage to change and shift things in a bold, confident way. So with the universe on your side, because we are going to see structures coming down in this. We are going to see some Saturn breaking apart in this, some of the rigid things that are no longer, we need to evolve. So Saturn needs to shift in its restrictive force. It needs to change. So there's going to be changes happening in the way, like I do think Britney Spears will probably win. And the structure will be it will become restructured. Something about conservatorships will now become restructured permanently because of her actions. So it's like we are creating positive changes through this. So you know, what was your question?
well, that's okay. I mean, I think you answered it pretty well.
Yeah.
So Saturn is retrograde, and you were talking about the Mars squaring Uranus and Saturn. So how long will that particular aspect be in effect till? Is that till July 13th?
Well, let's see. Everything ends in July 13th. Yeah, but we also have Venus joins in at about July 3rd in all of this, because Venus is joining Leo. And so Mars is going to square Saturn. It then is going to square Uranus, which could be very explosive. So a couple days after, it's like they're all very small degrees. We got 2 degrees apart. So first Mars is going to square Saturn, which is Saturn is at what degrees? Saturn is at 12 degrees. And then a couple days later, when Mars moves into 13 degrees, it's going to square Uranus. And that's going to happen, I think, on the 4th of July.
Wow, talk about fireworks.
Yeah, so we are looking at fireworks. So everyone wants to be really careful this year. You really want to stay away from getting burned or accidents happening. Mars, Uranus, boom, explosions.
Oh, okay.
You know, some astrologists are really nervous about this on the 4th of July. So, you know, we want to be really careful.
Okay.
Everybody, fires, damages. And plus we have the sun is in Cancer, but when sun goes into about 20 something degrees in Cancer, which is later in the month, it's opposing Pluto, which could also be power struggles. That would be another malefic kind of transit coming that can be tough for everybody. But luckily the sun transits only last 3 or 4 days because it moves a degree a day. So, but those are the more sort of tenuous energies that are going to be happening for the month of July. So for those first 2 weeks, when Venus joins in, though, it's a little better because Venus is going to join in on the square, possibly creating, because then we get Venus, we're going to have Venus joining in. When that happens, Venus is at 7 degrees Leo and Mars is at 6 degrees Leo. So we're going to have a Venus and Mars conjunction around the second week of July, which is going to be extremely fantastic, romantic, passionate. It's almost like love and war. It's like these love amongst the rebels, you know, it's like we've got this passionate love, Leo Mars conjunction of the energy of masculine and feminine coming together in a very passionate, creative, fun, joyful energy. So it's like the backdrop is against social backlash against a restrictive government and within our own personal lives too. Maybe we're pulling a permit out with the government. We're going to fix up a house, but the restrictions are just too confining. And somehow we say, hey, this is too confining. And then they say, okay, we will adjust, or they don't, but you know, frustrations could occur as well. But, so yes, so the beginning of the month, with Venus, I'm just going to see, when does Venus join Mars exactly? I think Venus joins Mars exactly towards the middle of the month, actually. Venus catches up with Mars on the July 11th and 12th. So that's when the fantastic stuff happens. Although, you see, the stuff can happen before, because I study transits a lot. I see that the things happen sometimes a couple days before the transit. It's like the energy precedes it. And especially if you have a trigger point in your chart, like your DC is on it or your IC, you're going to feel it sooner, you know. So your first couple weeks of July are tenuous.
So what would be the key words that you would use to describe those first 2 weeks of July? So you said tenuous, what else? Like change.
Instant, like push for change, like the actions that's causing the change, not just the ideas, not just the sort of ruminating about it, but like the action that's behind it, the instigation. This is the point when you are going to see things come down, like that building that came down in, I know we talked about it before, but the building came down in Florida, like it wasn't safe. The Mars, the energies are pushing against the structures, and the sound ones stay and the weak ones fall against the pressure. So what can withhold the pressure in your life too? You know, some kind of a structure is ending in everybody's life, a past structure, but we're building a new one. So,
and with that, with the building of the new one, that takes courage. Mm-hmm. But people also need to be careful about making rash decisions or acting impulsively, you know. So
yes, because the frustrations involved around, because the thing that usually motivates people to act is a frustration, is a done doing this. I'm done. There's a lot of this I'm done energy.
Oh, wow. You are so right. I think I literally said
like,
that
I'm
twice
done
today.
with that.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. So that's the buildup before the point of like, I'm doing something about it now, you know? And so we're going to see people doing things about things, which is good. But if you do it with aggression and anger, what you really want to do is put your frustrations aside and calm yourself down and use the energy to propel you rather than to cause destruction. Because the Mars energy can be destructive. That's why we need to be careful right now, because some of that energy in its shadow will play out, shadow will play out in violence and explosives and, you know, possibly bombing government buildings. I mean, worst case scenarios, I hope not. I hope none of this happens, but Mars is an energy of anger in this state. So you want to watch out, you know, be careful right now for sure around.
I love what you said about use this first feeling of frustration to propel you versus it allowing it to be a destructive force.
Right.
I think that's key. That's really, really valuable for us to carry for those first couple of weeks of July.
Learning you in this season with Leo and these planets in Leo, we've got Venus, Leo, Mars, Leo, the sun will be in Leo at the end of the month. And I'm not sure if Mercury is going to go into Leo. Where is Mercury right now? Mercury is in Cancer. So it might be at the end of the month going into Leo.
Is it unusual to have that many planets in Leo at one time, Madelaine?
Well, it can be, but I'm just trying to see, when does Mercury ingress? Mercury ingresses into Leo July 27th.
Oh, wow.
You know, right now that seems to be happening a lot this year. It's not normal, but for this year, we seem to have all the planets kind of clustering here together. We had them all clustered in Aquarius, and so
and such a different energy if you think about Aquarius and Leo. You know, so if for anyone who wants to be a little bit on the, you know, astrology geeky side, you know, reflect back on a couple months. When was it? That was February, correct? When
we had Aquarium still yet. It might have been in February. Yep.
Yeah. So reflect.
February.
Reflect back on what was happening in your life at the time, and maybe note the changes, the differences between the energy of all these planets coming together in Aquarius versus Leo. You know, because it will feel very different, and different things are going to show up in your life. It might be just an interesting observation for people to see and experience firsthand the differences between some of these planetary energies.
Yeah, Leo and Aquarius are right opposite in the chart anyway. So it's like we're looking at the exact opposite. Like, during the Aquarian stellium we were having, people are coming up with, I mean, again, that's like the people, it's Aquarius, it's Uranus energy as well as Saturn, but it's like people initiating of new structures. It was kind of like the initiating period where we became aware of the new structures or the new directions. And then we went into sort of Gemini. Well, we did Taurus when we go, and we went into Pisces and then Aries season. So all the planets have been kind of clustering all the way along until here. So we're really kind of going through these energies. And when the fire energy, what I mean is when we went into Aries, we were in sort of, there might have been some multiple planets in Aries, I can't remember. But when you have a stellium and fire signs like we're about to have, you really have to learn how to master your fire energy, which is to not let it just go out of control. You want to just kind of learn how to drive it. Mastering fire is to hold its jet propulsion, where you create a little bit of holdback. You don't want to repress it altogether, because then it go boom all of a sudden. But this is what I teach my sons, because I have one son with quite a bit of fire energy in his chart. They're low degrees, so they tend to be explosive, more out of nowhere kind of explosions. But so I'm teaching them how to do jet propulsion, which is you just hold it back a little bit, and then when you hold it back, it pushes you forward. The drive of the energy of the Leo, or the passion, will do the propelling. You don't have to try hard during all these energies, by the way. Quite the opposite.
That's good to know. Even if you don't have a lot of fire in your chart.
if you don't have a lot of fire in your chart, I would say these energies might be fine. If you have like low fire in your chart, you may get fired up here. You may have a little bit more fire than normal. So you may not have to worry too much.
Yeah.
But if you've got fire in your chart, chill.
Yeah, look out.
Yeah.
Look out. Yeah, because I can, you know, we're recording here the end of June, and I'm already kind of feeling that sense of let's go, let's move, let's do something. But at the same time, I don't really have the energy to do it. So it's this kind of funny place to be in this in-between period. It feels like anyway.
My older son, ascendant Leo, is going through a lot of frustrations yesterday. He's just full of it right now because he's just frustrated with his job, Saturn, frustrated with his boss, Saturn.
Yeah. So cool how it shows up.
I know. It's pretty clear, isn't it?
Yeah. So what about, all right, so we were kind of talking about all these planets hanging out together, the impact, how it will feel, what we can do to manage it for the first couple of weeks of the month. What about, you said around mid-month, things will begin to shift a bit. So can you share a little bit about what's going to be happening then?
Yeah, mid-month we have, let's see, let's have a look. Well, we're going to have Sun opposition Saturn, July 25th. That's towards the end of the month. Sun squares Uranus at the end of the month. But we have we have Venus conjuncting Mars until July 27th. And that is, so let's talk a little bit about Mars is going to be in Leo, which is passionate, fiery.
Okay.
It's a fifth house energy already. Leo is a fifth house energy, which is relationships, creative projects, fun, joy. And then we have Venus in Leo as well. So it's like Venus is going to meet Mars in Mars's sort of vibe. Venus is going to join in. And so we have sort of both these planets like that are very relationship centric, because Leo is a heart-centered energy, very heart-centered, love, romantic. So we've got Venus. So, you know, Venus is ruled by Libra, but it's in Leo. So it's like ruled by the sun. I mean, Leo is ruled by the sun. So we've got Mars is ruled by the sun in its own sign. So it's like really fortified. So the sun is just like, well, actually the sun is going to be in Cancer. Wait, no, sun is going to go out of Cancer and into Leo at the end of the month. So when that joins in, we really get a fortification of those energies. But like with Leo in Mars is like double fire, double passion. And then we've got Venus ruled by, Venus is usually ruled by, Libra is ruled by Venus. Leo is ruled by the sun. So Venus is now being pumped by the sun energy, like given a lot of confidence. So it's like both the energies are going to be feeling really strong, in their best light, looking good. Like people are going to look good. People are going to feel good. Romances are going to be really like beautiful and like fun and in the sun. Probably people out playing in the summertime. So it's just and also Venus is money. So Mars might in the sign of Leo gives you confidence and courage to take action towards risks and ideas that bring you good finances. So it's a very good financial transit as well, because Leo is a very abundant energy as far as finances. It's the sun, it's the fifth house. It's just a very sort of, the sun feeds abundance, feeds the plants, feeds the growth. So it's like the Leo energy is in Mars is feeding the financial growth. And then we've got Venus in Mars loving it. It's a good, these are very positive energies. These are very strong union type energies. A lot of relationships and romances will probably initiate during this period. A lot of card reads, because I do a lot of card reads, and I'm getting a lot of unions for people coming in the first and second week of July. So we're just getting a real harmonizing of the two forces of the feminine and masculine energies in Leo, which is like neutral ground. You see what I mean? So, well, although I think Mars is going to be slightly stronger in the mix.
So it's interesting. So with that energy you're talking about, like I'm kind of in my head, like painting a picture of the progression of the energy. So we're starting off with this more like conflict oriented energy, but the conflict is actually a good thing because it's clearing out the old ways and old structures that are not working to create a space for the new. And then you have the energy of Venus that's coming into the mix, and that's bringing this more of this harmony, this love, this romance, it feels like almost like expansive energy of more creation and romance and fun to what was feeling a little bit more more aggressive.
Yeah, if something,
Softening it.
yeah, like for instance, if something does happen, like say there's an explosive or there is a violent outlash, there'll be a big love fest afterwards. Like people will really gravitate together. There'll be a real heart, because Leo's all about the heart. So there's going to be a big sort of uprising of compassion and love for each other and people bonding. It might be very unifying in some way too, because Mars and Venus coming together is a very unifying energy. So it's like you're going to see people wanting to be, I think it's going to be passive. I think there's going to be it's almost like any kind of let's say you get in arguments with people during that period in your family. Let's say, well, after that, you just don't want it anymore. You just want to love everybody and say, I love you. It's okay if you don't believe in this or you don't believe in that. I don't care. I just want you. We just love each other. Forget all. It doesn't matter. You know, so it's kind of like we'll see sort of a reaction, like a pendulum almost, kind of from the angry energy to the more compassionate, loving, caring energies. You know, relationship card comes out.
Yeah, the lovers. Yeah, that's great. So, or was that Two of Cups? It was
Two of Cups relationship.
Two of Cups, yeah, relationship. So, all right. So then, if we're moving on, like you'd already mentioned a bit about July, the end of July, Mercury is joining the party. But is there something before the 27th that would be worthy of mentioning that people can keep an eye out for or be aware of?
Yeah, Sun starts in at 15. Let me just take a look. Well, the Sun opposing Pluto is, when does that hit? That hits July 9th to July 26th. That could be, again, ego. Sun could be ego. That there could be showing secrets revealed. Pluto, secrets. That's an oppositional energy. So it's kind of like the Sun. There may be revolutions or like the Sun is the ego as well. So there could be power struggles, ego struggles against Pluto, which is like fears triggering each other, people coming into power struggles a little bit there. But then we get Mars opposition Jupiter, which is never really, anything with Jupiter is okay, but Mars is challenging opposition. So you might also get so we're going to start seeing changes and things growing, and there might be oppositions and resistance in that with those planets. And at the end of the month, we have Sun square Uranus. So that could be surprises that surprise us, that probably, I would say, go against the ego on some level. But Sun square Uranus is interesting, and the Sun at that point will be in Leo, and it's squaring Taurus. So at the end of the month with that Sun square Uranus, I would say that it's possible, again, you know, heating up, but squaring Uranus is in Taurus and in Leo. It's possible we get financial shifts and changes, like because of Uranus, the Sun being in Leo, might activate changes. Again, there could be earthquakes, but activating some kind of a change, like the Sun coming against Uranus in the finances. So it would be like Leo, courage to make shifts in some sort of a financial rigidity or some kind of a finance, because things are evolving financially in the world right now with that Uranus in Taurus. So there might be some sort of activation of some sort of a change that's a next step forward in that change. But it's going to be, for the sun, it's going to be good because it might be surprising and like expect the unexpected whenever Uranus is in the picture. But
Oh yeah.
with the sun there, it could be a need for change, revealing need for changes in some sort of financial structures. There might be some need, there might be some changes occurring. You could become clear because the sun clarifies things. So we can become clear what needs to change. And then things change. We take the initiation again. Something will change. The sun is also the king, squaring Uranus. So the sun might be everybody's sort of dreams to be bigger and grow, squaring limitations, financial limitations. But then we adjust to it and we continue to grow. So
I love that interpretation. That sounds really great. I mean, because all of the energy leading up to that point, that's what it feels like. I mean, it feels like this energy of almost, the word force kind of, I don't love that word, but encouraging us to like think bigger, dream bigger, you know, kind of think outside the box. We don't need a box anymore. We can expand out. We can spread our wings. That sort of energy and change, like you said.
Yeah, what we're looking at in this month, mostly of July, is people taking on initiatives in their own lives and in the world to shift things so that they can become more liberated, but also more authentic, living a higher quality life, better finances in general, like actions towards better finances, and adjusting. People having courage to adjust the restrictions so that they fit better the new earth that we're kind of creating right now, which is what we're initiating, which everybody has a part in building the new earth. If you're on your mission, you're going to be a part of the new world coming up, which is much more eco and abundant, healthy, all of that stuff. And so we are now at that point where we're going to make these pivot changes, structural changes that are going to enable the new growth to come. And then we've got all these planets are going to go into Virgo, which is when we do start to become more detailed oriented on things and focused and precise and, you know, making decisions and, you know, so it's like, but we're at that, with these fire signs, this is where we get, okay, that's enough, had it, we're doing this, we're going this way, this isn't going to work anymore, this is the way. But it comes with frustrations. But then with the Venus and the Leo thing is there's a romantic love relationship strength going on at the same time, which creates a foundation for a lot of these changes to occur, because you're going to get unification of strong relationships, because these are relationships that are benefic. Relationships coming together this time will be good, will be very long term. So it's like these relationships are coming together like, okay, let's get together and let's do this. That's July.
That's great. I mean, I think, you know, I've got a number of Leo hits coming up this month.
Oh, you do?
I'm definitely buckling in for that and like reminding myself to just slow down and breathe and just let it be the jet propulsion. Yeah, yeah. So I think for anyone, I think this is an opportune time if you have Leo in your chart anywhere, to talk to Madelaine and get a little bit of guidance and support to help you, because I think that would be really beneficial to get you in alignment with the energy that's at play and work through how you can navigate some of the challenges that you will likely face this month. And that doesn't mean it's going to be all hard, but the more knowledge you have and the more wisdom you have, I think you're better able to prepare and glide ever so gently through the bumps.
Yeah, and you can take things, because Leo is a joyful, playful energy. So the way to win is to just have fun and enjoy and not take everything so seriously. Try not. Saturn is serious. So it's almost like we want to break out of everything being so restricted and so serious. And we want to have more fun because August is going to be a really fun month. And it's going to be planets, Mars is going to go into into Virgo. So it's going to be cooler because Mars is in Leo right now, which makes everything really hot. Whenever Mars is in fire sign, it's warmer. So, so with August coming up, we're going to be enjoying the struggles that we have here in July, that are a lot of the reasons we don't change things and we don't make changes is because we can't really be bothered and we're busy and we've got other things and it's not that important in our life. We're putting out fires in our lives in other ways, so we don't take the initiative. So in this period, you're going to be motivated to take the initiatives to make those changes happen, and then you're going to get the benefits of that.
Well, absolutely. And I think that's the big key, is that unless we feel some discomfort, we tend to stay where we are. Yeah. Why change it if we feel fine? Why change it if there's no struggle involved? There's discomfort. So, so Madelaine is a great resource. I would also be a great resource if people are looking just for different strategies and ways to understand themselves better and understand what's happening. The astrology is a great piece, but then it's also looking at other aspects of yourself and how you can marry the two together in order to paint a bigger picture and to help you navigate some of those challenges a little bit more easily. So before we wrap up for the July cosmic forecast, Madelaine, can you remind, unless there's something else you want to say about the month?
Just, we have a Cancer new moon on the 9th.
Oh, thank you for reminding me about the moons. That's great.
Yeah, and then we have the full moon in Aquarius at the end of the month. I think it's on the 24th or 26th at the end of the month. So the Cancer new moon, I think, is on the 9th. It's going to be those are wonderful. Those Cancer transits are nice. Could be a new home. You could get a new home, move, new moon in Cancer, new homes, new families, more, because we're having all these Leo, people could be sort of initiating new families during that period. Homes, new moon in Cancer is nice. So that's going to be a nice little respite of the crazy Mars squared that's happening. But that would be the other thing that we'll talk about when we do the IG thing. But just so everybody knows that those were the full moon is in Aquarius. So wherever you have Aquarius in your chart will be activated. And then the new moon, Cancer, which is wherever you have Cancer in your chart. For me, that's my first house. So
yeah, I love that. And I it's kind of nice that this new moon is in Cancer, because you're right, that is such a nice soft energy, and especially having it in the month of July too. That's really cool. And yes, Madelaine and I join everyone that is interested on learning about the new moon and the full moon energies the Thursday before each one, or if it happens to fall on that day, like the past 2 or 3 I think we've had, that's been pretty cool. We usually do them the Thursday before each of the moons at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific. We mixed it up a little bit and did some evening ones for some rituals and other things. We may be doing that again, but we'll keep you posted. But as of now, it'd probably be the 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific. And then Madelaine, can you let everyone know how they can get in touch with you if they'd like to get an astrology or tarot read?
Yeah, you can email me or call me 818-203-0895, or email Madelaine, Madelaine, Parker, Parker 111 @gmail.com. And if you want, you can find me on Instagram at Madelaine Parker Insta. I also have a YouTube channel, Madelaine Parker. I changed it. And then, so reach out anytime. And I do my meetings on Zoom, and you can record them, and I look at your chart and we pull cards and we see what transits and where all these things are happening to you, exactly what houses they're all happening.
Yeah, it's super fun. It really is. It's such, and you end up at the end of the reading, you feel really light and happy and motivated too. Like, okay, I'm ready to go. So, and then of course I am Amalia Natalia with Karmic Kindness. You can find me on social media all over the place, Karmic Kindness, and at karmickindness.com. There is a little drop-down menu which has, if you go to Karmic karmic coaching, there's a lot of information about the different services that I have and what I
highly recommend your number. What do you call that?
The soul contract reading.
Yes, I suggest everybody get a soul contract reading. It was very good.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's great. It really is a great way for people to see themselves in another light. The astrology is awesome. The soul contract is an analysis of your birth name, and it takes the vibration of the name.
How do you connect it to the current astrology or to the current, when you do that? I'm curious.
There's not a way that I know of that there's a connection point between the current astrology and the soul contract. However, because I'm doing the reading and I'm getting a sense of the person in front of me, and because I know what the current astrology is, I'm able to tie the two together to help people navigate what's coming up in their life, what's going on currently from a cosmic perspective. So it's kind of taking the two pieces of information and just giving you a little bit more of a bigger picture of what's happening. So, and there's a number of other spiritual sciences that I use to tie all of those pieces together. That's really helpful. I also, it's important though that I don't overload people with too much information. So I kind of give them what they need in order to manage or handle what's happening in that moment. But yeah, that's a great question, because I know when we did the reading, Madelaine, we were talking about
fascinated how it seemed to tie in with how my name was tying into what I'm going through now. And I thought, how did she do that?
Yeah. That's, I think, similarly to you, when you're in the session and you're working with people, information just comes through you and you share. And so that's, I think, the kind of the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. Which is so cool, because then people get exactly what they need in that session. So, yeah. All right. Well, again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining Madelaine and myself. We were so happy to have you here for the July Cosmic Forecast. And we will see you at the lives this month. And then again, back here.
Stay chill.
Yeah, yes, with this fiery energy. All right. That wraps this edition of SoulFull Sessions Cosmic Forecast for the month of July. We will see you here next month.